The speech really, it transcends any challenge that you might have, physical or intellectual, or any sort of limitation that you think you might have.
And I had always known that Iron Man was kind of a metaphor for life, but Mike really put it all together as he used that metaphor to explain how we can go from ordinary to extraordinary.
You know, I learned something important about this whole thing about specific edge. And that is, to really be a good athlete as a young person, you have to have size, you have to be big, you have to have speed, and you have to have eye-hand coordination. I got to tell you, I had none of the above. But I did find something as I aged that I was pretty good at. You know, I was a pretty good runner, I was a pretty good swimmer, and I was a pretty good biker. When you're that specific, three things are going to happen: a miracle, a referral, or a transfer. A miracle goes something like this. You got to be kidding. I've been looking for you. I'm so glad to meet you. Does that ever happen? So she finally looks at me and she says, okay, I'm a real estate lawyer. I focus on multifamily houses, especially when they need HUD financing. But before I could say a word, the lady sitting next to her started screaming. My husband is about to buy a HUD property and needs a lawyer. But she was just a lawyer. They hadn't made that connection. So even if there is a miracle out there, you're never going to hit it unless you're very specific. Okay, Kona, it's the Super Bowl, it's the World Series, it's the Boston, it's the Tour de France. This is the big deal in the triathlon world. And somehow for that last 6 miles, I pushed through and I came across that finish line in 11 hours, 11 minutes, and 23 seconds with my wife screaming at the top of her lungs, "You're second!" And somebody came up to me and said, "Mike, what's next?" And you know, that's when I realized what my next level was for me and what really I was passionate about. And that's become a mentor.
Mike has heart, and I mean that in two different ways. One is he has heart in the sense of grit, and that's what comes out in his presentation.
He was able to connect, not only helping people find their specific edge, but really unleashing their power in their business and their personal and their spiritual lives.
But the whole time I was listening to the talk, I was constantly thinking of applications for my own life.
He also has heart in the sense of generosity and love for other people, and that comes out and it's inspiring.